Yeah, there we go. Probably help if I unmute the microphone as well here. So starting out this morning, you're working on another little sample here. This one is going to be an implementation of the Logly provider for the Prism logging plugin. So I was just trying to think of some fun ways to kind of show different logging methods here. So one of the things we'll do here, of course, is handle a exception with the little report method. Where are we? Right here. And then we kind of want to just display this. So this is just a very basic thing where we're just going to generate some log messages and send it up to Logly and kind of show you what's going on. So anywho, so what do we have here? The other thing is you have to provide a token. So I kind of did a little bit of setup before the stream here. So one of the things that you'll see is you have to kind of come in to Logly and add a customer token. Obviously, I've blacked out my token because you don't need to see what my token is. Yeah, so I was thinking I might kind of have some fun. I haven't had a chance to play with the new carousel view in xamarin.forms, so I thought that might be kind of fun to play around with and put in here. Of course, I'm sure if Brian is watching this, he's going to be going, "No, don't do that," But it's more of just a UI thing, kind of keep it simple and show you what to do and how to use the sample. Because obviously, I am not going to check in my own token. Because I don't need you using my logging implementation, and it wouldn't do you any good because you couldn't see it anyway. So so some things that I kind of set up. Like I said, I'm working on this little generator that'll just generate some messages, and then basically whenever it gets to like 15 messages or so, we're gonna cut it off. 14, 15 messages somewhere in there. We're gonna cut that off, stop adding logs, because it could get very irritating if that was going infinitely. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Let me see here. I'm going to actually register that as a singleton before I forget, and then I'll kind of walk through singleton, and we want the logging or log generator. So a couple other things that we did here, just for some initialization stuff. I've put in a registration for the iLogger, which is the logger or logging interface that we're going to use. And I've added the console logging service just as something that you can start out with. And then, we'll add the actual logging options. And these kind of get re-registered later. So you'll notice I also am using the event aggregator here, just so you can switch, because one of the neat things with Logly is you can choose to either use their HTTP endpoint, which kind of gives you this nice TCP connection, or you can use syslog, which uses actually a UDP socket. So you can kind of pick and choose which route you would like to go with Logly. So kind of demoing both of those options here. And then anytime we add a token, we'll go ahead, of course, and re-register the Logly options and go back to the main page. So what I was going to be doing here on this navigate command, so let me go ahead and set that up, I guess. So let me do a async void on navigate command executed. This is just kind of how I like to do my navigation. So yeah, we have our navigation service. We'll navigate. You notice I do not actually have another page in here yet. So I'm going to leave that empty, and I will come back to that when I figure out what I call it. And then I always kind of like to do this here, where I just check the result, and if it's, whoops, result success. Oh, I did not await. Haha. So if it's not a successful result, then I just like to kind of do this diagnostics debugger break, just so you can kind of see what's going on. You don't have to set up any kind of breakpoint because it's right there in code for you. So yeah, anyway, so let's set up this navigation command, and we'll do a new delegate command. And let's see here. So on navigate command executed, and then for our can execute, what we're actually going to do is we're going to say our logly options if the token, well, let's see here. Actually, I guess we'll do a string is null or empty around that. So if it's not null or empty, then we can navigate. And so what this is actually going to end up doing is because when we set the token, we do an absolute navigation. So we come back to the main page. We should be recreating the main page view model. So that should definitely help us get a new instance of the logly options when we have registered the new options. And so as long as we have a token, then we'll go ahead and navigate. I suppose I could take that out if we want to just let you see the console logger, but right now I don't care about that. So there you go. What can I tell you? So what do we want to do? So let's see. I had my info items. That was the other thing I had kind of created. So you saw those 3 images here. So let me go ahead and also deal with that kind of while I'm thinking about it. Info items, and we'll say, yeah, we can just do a new array. It doesn't matter, right? Info item, and the image name is going to be Prism Sample Images. Oops, actually, there's no dot there. So images, and then we have the signup.png, and the text will say, be sure to create a free account at logly.com. Okay, and then do new info item, image name, Prism sample, images. Then we want to show the dashboard. And then text. You'll see your logs here once you start logging. And then do one last one for right now. Image name, and then Prism sample images. Oh, haha, I need the .png there. Sorry, hold on. Images, and then we had generate token .png. Okay. On the text, be sure to create a consumer token to be able to log to Logly with either the HTTP or syslog logger. All right. Cool. So now that's created. So we should be able to kind of see those. That's really, I think, all we need there. I guess we should add another page here. And let's see. What do we want to call this? I guess call it the generate logs page. Why not? And a couple things I am going to do right off the bat. It really bugs me when I see content page.content. Like, there's zero reason for that to be there. I don't even know why it's in the bloody item templates. Hey, Hussein, how you doing, buddy? One of the other thing that like really bugs the hell out of me, Visual Studio likes to put this junk in. You don't need this. Take it out. It's just clutter. Luckily, the xamarin.forms team already has some targets in there that does exactly what that was trying to do. So anyway, so we have our generate logs page. I guess we should add a generate logs page view model. View model. Okay. So, and then I guess yeah, bindable base. Why not? And then we had, what was that? What did I call that? The log generator. I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering things 5 seconds later. Log generator. Okay. So we'll do a little DI with this. Generate logs. Okay. Log generator. Okay. Cool. And then we'll need a command, obviously. So we'll add a delegate command here. Generate logs. Okay. And then private void. Whoa. I cannot type today. Or any other day, but that's okay. Generate logs executed. Generator, and then we're going to generate our logs. The other thing that we will want to do, which I think will be kind of fun here, is we will want to have IEnumerable string, I believe it was, and then logs, and we are going to return the generator messages. Okay. Okay, so I think that's, oh yeah, we should probably actually initialize the generate logs command. So let's do that on generate logs executed. Boom. Okay. So to kind of walk through this real quick here, for my own sanity, and also so you know what I was kind of going for. So when we hit our generate logs command, we'll execute this, which calls the generate logs method. When we come into the generate logs method here, so we reset our log count to 0. We should probably also clear the messages. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start a timer, and that timer is going to execute every 1.5 seconds, and it's going to call this generate log method. So the generate log method, it gets a little, I guess, confusing, but in any case, so we have a little bit of logic here just to generate some different messages, which I obviously need to do different messages. In any case, I'm just trying to think how to, we'll have to figure out something here. I guess maybe we'll just say, so we'll say view A, I don't know. And then, you know, the user did something fun. Okay. So that way we have at least a couple of different messages. And then what we're doing here is we're kind of tracking some events. So like as we're tracking events, we're saying, hey, we started the test log run. That was an event that we're tracking. We went to view A. That was an event we're tracking. And then we're going to do this like log info. where we just say that, hey, you know, the user did something fun. I'm not overly creative sometimes, what can I tell you? And then we also have this little instance here where we're catching this exception and logging the exception itself, which is kind of cool. But for our messages we display to the user in the app, we're just going to take the exception type and the message, and there you go. Yeah, so pretty simple stuff. So what we'll want to do, let me think here. Oh, one other thing I guess we probably want to do. We'll say public string logger type. Okay, and then say ilogger. Insert that, and then the logger type. Whoops. And here we're going to say get type name. Probably not something you do in production code, but just so you can kind of see like which logging instance we're actually using. Figure that might be a little helpful. So now I guess, let me think here. Do I want to use stack layout or not? I don't know. I think I do. Okay. So we're going to do a binding to our logger type. And then all right, hold on. Let me think about this. Actually, we're going to use this as a grid, right? And the horizontal text alignment, we'll make that center. Font size, make this a title, I think, right? Or a header. No, we'll make it a title. Okay. And then I'm going to do a stack layout here. And we're going to do the bindable layout dot item source. And what was that? Binding logs. Yes. Logs. And then bindable layout dot item template. And whoa, I don't know what the heck that is. You've never noticed that those were font sizes until now? Yeah. They are built in, which is kind of nice. So we'll do a label, text, and a binding. Well, it's just a string, so we don't need anything fancy. Oh, that's why it's complaining. Duh. Data template. Try that again. Now it'll be happy. Then, of course, I do need to, since I'm in a grid, I need to at least put this in row 1. And then I am going to do a button down here. Text, we'll say generate logs. Binding, and I believe it was just generate logs was the variable name. Okay, cool. So that should be fairly simple. Of course, I also need to put this in a row. Okay. Pretty simple layout. Nothing really crazy there. I am going to kind of add some row definitions though. And so the height on the first one will be auto. Row definition height, we'll make this a star. Row definition here, we'll make that auto. Is the bindable layout like a collection view, but as a page? Okay, so the bindable layout, actually, let me it's easier, I think, to bring up the source code. So give me 1 second here. We'll go to GitHub here. And actually, Hussein, I'm really shocked you did not. Surprised you didn't yell at me for. Oh, I guess I'm already on 150%. That's why nobody yelled at me for having small text. Anyway, so let me blow this up, make this a little easier to see. So if we come in here, let's go find it. So we have xamarin.forms core. And then, where is it? Bindable layout. So what you'll see here, so bindable layout is just a static class that contains some attached properties. So the type that it's looking for is anything that is a layout of view. And so anything that derives from layout of view is what it's going to be able to apply to. Theoretically, this would work on a grid, though realistically, it's only ever going to, well, I don't know how it would work on a grid because, frankly, you need to do some sort of assignment on rows and columns, and so I think technically it's unsupported, even though it's theoretically possible. And it was in the docs for a while, which I thought was funny. But yeah, so you can use this on different types. It's used on stack layout a lot. It's basically anything, though, that it has a collection of different views within it, like a stack layout is probably the most common one I use it with. So anyway, that's just kind of where it is. I really encourage you guys, though, if you aren't doing this, when you're not really sure about something in the xamarin.forms API, just really take a second and go to GitHub and look at the code, because it's right there for you. And I mean, you can see how quickly I can go to GitHub and go, oh, okay, well, it's a layout of view. I mean, I don't remember the exact base type off the top of my head, but I know very quickly how to go find it. So anyway, hope that helps. To go ahead and close this, go back to our code here. And Hussein talking about putting it on, putting all this within a scroll view. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably should do that. So let me go ahead and do that. Put this in a scroll view. Actually, no, I don't want to put the whole thing in a scroll view, because that really irritates me. What I will do, though, is I will put this stack layout in a scroll view. And we'll say grid row 1. Okay. And then we can actually get rid of that right there because it's within the scroll view. Oh, and I want to do one more row definition, actually. So we're going to do a height here of 40, just to give ourselves a little bit of a buffer on the whole, bottom. So, or I guess let me make that a little smaller. We'll do 20. Okay. Cool. And now for, let's see. So we want this. So our item source, I believe, was what was it? I can't remember anything anymore. Info items. Info items. And carousel view item template. Data template. Stack layout. And we have an image source. Font image. I find it funny that there's only, alright, whatever. So let me do an aspect fit, and then image source. Okay, and then we want, source, where is it? I don't think it'll actually. I'm trying to remember now which one was the right. I don't think it's file image source, is it? The file. See, I usually have helpers that like do a lot of this stuff for me. So let me just think here. All right, I'm going to just add a helper in here because why not? At the very least, it'll show you how to do this kind of stuff. Why not just name the file in the image tag? Does that? I'm trying to remember. Can you do that? Binding. What was it? I think it's just image. You're talking about like that, Hussein? Because I thought I could. I mean, this is an embedded image. It's not. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll come back. I'll test it out. We'll see if it works. I don't know. And then label. Binding is text. Okay. All right. So I think that's good. And then I'm going to do a button here. Text. Binding is the. Or no. We're not doing a binding to that. Generate logs. Hold on. Command binding. I think it was just navigate, right? That was navigate command. Navigate command. Okay. So now I'm just trying to think here. What is the image type? What do you mean, Hussein? What is the image type? Because it's an embedded PNG. So if we look in the view model here, you see I'm just using like the fully qualified name here of the resource. Yeah. Anyway. So there are a couple other things we need to do. So we have our generate logs, but then I also need, if you remember, I had, what was it? Just trying to think here. Trying to think how to explain what I'm trying to do. So we had our two events. Remember our register logger event and our register logly token event. So we need to do that somehow here. So I guess let me think here. I think what we'll do is we'll have a what is the image? Okay, no, it's still do label text logly token. Oh, wrong one. Entry binding. Whoa. I am like all kinds of. I need more coffee, I think, is what it is. Binding token. Trying to think here. I'm also going to make this so is visible. I'm going to add a binding to a has logly token. Okay. Oh, let me do that. And then also we want to say is password is true. So that way I can enter it and bring the simulator back on my screen without you all seeing my token. So we have that, and then the other thing we want to do is, you know, Hussein, you need to get your like PR merged because I really want to use the whole segment control here, but that is not an option. So that sucks. Let me think. Hold on. Oh, thank you for answering his code, by the way, Hussein, or his question. Yes. How do I want to do this? So I guess let's do a picker. Picker items. X string. Please select. Syslog and X string HTTP. Okay, and then say the selected item. I'll do a binding for the selected logger type. Okay. So now that we have that, I guess there are a couple of different things we need to go and generate, right? So let's go back. Let me clear out some of these. So I don't need all of these different things open. It just leads to confusion. And okay, so what did we have here? We had the we had a boolean for has logly token, I believe was what it was, right? Yes, has logly token. And then we had a whoops, private string token. Okay, I was told the okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know what they're waiting for on getting the new Xcode. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, I was forced to upgrade because I upgraded Visual Studio. Yeah. Token set property ref token value. Okay. Oh, let me do this. Has logly token. Put that there. Of course, you know, since I'm going to be doing that, I can just say observe scan execute. There you go. Okay, so that was two of the things I needed to do, and then the other was the selected logger type. Oh my god, what's going on here? Is that, how did I know that it was Hussein? Can I put the title of the stream as today's topic? Sure. Let me go find the right window. Logly sample. How about that? There you go, Hussein. I have updated the title for you. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, hold on. Okay, so we have the selected logger type. Let's go create that property here. And private. Let's try to think here. Private string. Public string. Okay. So get that. Oh, issue 45. I don't know. Is it issue 45? That is a great question. I don't know. Prism library. Let me see. Let's try to answer Hussein's question. Is it issue 45? Yes, it is issue number 45, logging with Loggly. Anyway, so we'll set this property value there. Okay. And then there's actually, I guess, one other thing that we need to do. And oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm also going to put a button here. Let's do a button, text, save, do a command, binding, save, token command. How about that? And I'm going to do the same. Well, actually, hold on. I'm going to simplify things a little bit. So let me do a frame. And then I'll do a stack layout in here because I kind of have to. So I just kind of want this to stick out a little bit here. So let's go add a save token command. And I'm also going to say property changed. Whoa. Or was it on change, I think. On changed. Say selected logger changed. Generate that. Okay, and then add that command here that we wanted to do. Oops. Okay. So, the other thing I am missing. Hold on. Oh, okay. So, what I need to do is we'll say navigation service equals navigation service, because that would have been bad. I also need the iEvent aggregator. Let's get that. And we need to save that here. something, or set that to a private field. Okay, so now we have that. And what was the command we called? I think it was save token command. Say on save token command executed. Okay. Private void. Okay. Okay. So you've read that you should try to stay away from stack layouts because they have to do the calculations on the view every time. Is it that people are talking, or they just okay? The big thing is try not to make it overly complex. I mean, this is starting to get a little complex. You will definitely see major performance hits on Android, though. iOS, I don't really see anything bad, but you know, there have been some layouts I've seen from people that are just so terribly nested that they're going, well, why does it take 10 seconds for my view to load? And the answer is, well, go look at how nested everything is. And there's your answer. So anyway, hope that helps. All right. So when the selected logger has changed, we're going to do a switch here on the selected logger type. And so if it's HTTP, then we want to call the event aggregator get event, what was it, register logger event. And we are going to publish that it's HTTP. And if the case is syslog, oh yeah, need a break. Aggregator get event. Okay. Okay. There you go. And I find this, I don't know about anybody else, I find this stupid in C# that, okay, I have my very last case. There is nothing under this. Like, I'm not even following through. Why are you giving me a build time error? Like, the compiler should just be smart enough to figure out, hey, this is the last freaking case. Enough is enough. Just saying. Anyway. Or for that matter, since we don't have fall-through behavior in C#, why do I have to specify break? I mean, that's just stupid. Like, either give me fall-through behavior, or don't require break. I mean, one of the two. Anyway. Okay. So then on our save token event, we're going to get the event, register the token, publish. Okay. Wow, that was actually a lot more than I thought we were going to be doing. Let's try and run this and see what happens. All right. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Come on, build already. This is like what I really dislike, is how long it takes to build sometimes. Oh, you're just like, please build. You know, I just want to sit there. I don't know if you remember, they used to have the commercials back when like Black Friday was even bigger, before everybody was going online to do their holiday shopping. And I think it was Macy's. They had the commercial where it was like they're standing outside and they're like, open, open, open. And I feel like just sitting here looking at Visual Studio and be like, build, 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 you know. But anyway, it's just me. And then what is that? Like it just, okay, it goes through everything and then it just dies out and now I gotta hit this again. Like, so frustrating. Okay, where do we? Okay, I have a simulator on the entirely wrong screen. Let's bring it over here. And what is our exception? We have an exception. Likely the result of invalid XAML. Well, that sucks. So here's what I like to do when you run into these things. And by the way, that's why I put that debugger there, is because nobody's perfect, including me. So here's what I like to do. So first of all, I can try doing just new main page. We'll see how that works. And then if that does work and we don't have any issues there, then what I like to do is check out my view model. So we'll do a container resolve on the main page view model. And then, of course, I'll do the diagnostics debugger break. Boom. Okay. And there you go. And then just for good measure, console.writeLine. Boom. Okay. So let's recompile this here and find out what I messed up on. All right. Yeah. Crying out loud. All right, so we had a system invalid operation exception. And oh, okay. I think I know why. So I need to set an experimental flag. Of course, it can't tell you the name of the flag that it was looking for. So irritating. Oh, here it is. Okay. Forms set flags. Do. Actually, real quick. Yeah, I'm going to rerun this because I think that this gives us a good idea of something that we could and should do. I am very much about let's try to make Prism as smart as possible. So I want to just capture like what this exception is. I know it was a system invalid exception. So I am going to try and just capture some information here real quick. Please launch that again. It really irritates me. I have to do this twice every time. Come on. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So we have our system invalid exception. What is the message? So this is the message right here. Copy that. I'm just kind of marking some of this down here. Exception. Okay. All right, so now let me go ahead and go add the form set flag. Okay. And now if we run this, it should theoretically work. We will see. I'm just not even sure what to say about this view. This is all kinds of what the hell. Let me do something here. So the first thing I want to do, come in here and we'll say iOS. And iOS page, use safe area. True. What the hell is that? Okay. So I am going to actually change this up for a minute. Make it so we can have these side by side, and I'll have to keep going back and forth because that just gets very irritating. Oh, here. And get rid of that. Okay. So I think maybe this is the wrong type to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna use a grid again. Add a grid dot row 0. Grid dot row 1. Grid dot row 2. And then grid dot row 3. Add some row definitions in here. Say 250 for our height there, and then row definition. Height is auto. And really, I need to install mfractor on here, which, by the way, guys, if you have a mfractor license, Matt actually does have it now. So I recommend it. Son of a gun. Okay. So let me do this. So I'm going to close that out. Now on my picker, never actually tried this before. I'm going to see if it works. It may crash. I don't know. I have a feeling it might crash, actually. The fact that I'm explicitly setting my selected index to 0 before I have items. Call me crazy. Okay. Nope, that did not work. Not the way that I wanted it to. So we're just going to take this string here, because I would like it to say please select. I find it very irritating when I see a picker and it has no text in it at all. Okay, we'll come down here and so the selected logger type is going to be that. Or actually, no. Why am I doing it there? It should not be there. It should be right here. There. Okay. So we'll try this. But what? Come on. There we go. And then I will say, Hussein, you know, basically, well, really anyone who's watching, if you would like to take a stab at the, what do you call it? What in the hell? That's terrible. I need to, like, start looking more at this API. This is horrible. Anyway, but if someone would like to update the basically the splash screen on iOS to make it look more like the Android one, that would be awesome. Just kind of throwing that out there. So we have this, so we can set our logly token, which is great. We can also select what type of logging implementation we want there. And who is trying to... Oh, it's more spam email. Okay. And yeah, I'm really not surprised that that did not work, by the way, for our images. So I am going to do what I was going to do before someone suggested that it would just work, because I didn't think it would. Embedded... Hello... Embedded image. Extension, that's, yeah. Brain farting this morning. So we're going to go I markup extension. Okay, we're going to provide the value. Oh, we need to make this a bindable base, or is it bindable base? No. Bindable object. So public string name, content property, it will do name of. Okay, bindable property, and then we have our name property. Oops. So we have type of string, and then, whoops. Just trying to think here. I mean, I suppose what I could do here, I'm going to try it simply first, and then I'm only going to make it more complex if I have to. I think that is the way to go. So get value name property. Okay. Return image source from a source. Okay. Name. Okay. I am also going to put a breakpoint there because I want to see if I actually have the name or not when I hit provide value. Because I do not recall whether I will or not. Let me come up here. So where was it? Oh, I need to add the namespace. Prism sample. There we go. Okay. Um. So we have our image bind. Okay. So XAML embedded image. There we go. I might have to do a cheat on this. We'll see. So there are a couple of things that can go very potentially wrong on here, because as I recall, I had to deal with this issue when I was working on some of the navigation extensions. What on earth is it saying is wrong? Oh, for crying out loud. Let me do a clean. But I am 99% sure that when provide value gets called, we will not actually have our binding or our binding or God, I'm like brain farting. Basically, we won't have anything bound to the control at that point. So we won't have access to our binding. But I could be wrong. Okay, did that, no. So build succeeded, but I have to hit it again. Okay, so let's take a look at this. What do we have? So that is a terrible name, so I obviously have an error here. I have to stop that, and then we'll relaunch it. Oops. No! I don't... Why are we going on that one? There we go. Okay, let's take a look at this. So what do we have here? Yeah, see, our name is null, and if you look, our binding context is null, so that is problematic. So let me see. I think what we'll want to do, let me pin that here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get the provide value target service provider dot get service I provide value target. So the target object okay. Let's see. So if we look at we're going to come down. We got to drill all the way down to bindable object. The binding context is null. Okay. Then we're going to say that the image so we want to attach. So okay, there are a couple things we want to do here. So the first thing, actually, we want to store this image to a private field. And then we're going to attach, yep, that works. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Why is it giving me an error here? Oh, I should probably cast it, I guess, as an image. Should work, yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to return. Let me grab that. So if the image binding context is null, then we are going to set the image source equal to null. And we're also going to unhook this event. Okay. Else, we are going to take that. Source equals, boom. Okay. The other thing we want to do is we're going to take this dot binding context equal to the image binding context. And actually, I hate using this, so that should theoretically now work. I just need to return null right there. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and try this out. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so we are now in here. If we look, so our image, for crying out loud. Okay, so we have an info item in here. And so this should be the sign up PNG. Oh, crap. I might have used the wrong name, didn't I? I definitely did. I'm going to have to do this again. Okay. Let's try this. Now, what is the name here? Perfect. So we have the name that we expected. So that's beautiful. And we should just be able to go ahead and actually remove our breakpoints. Cool. Let me do a no. Let me see. So I have my peak area inset. And then I am going to do, actually no, I don't want it on that. I do, however, want it on that. Good enough. Okay. Oh, I guess on the image, let me do padding, or no, margin 10. I'm going to do a vertical option. I'm going to center that. Or actually, let me put it at the end. Let me see how that looks. Still no better. Okay. Hello, Alexi. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So I think this is starting to work out much better. Oh, actually, I'm going to reverse that and put that down there. Cool. So now, oh, and then one other thing I want to do. I'm going to do a margin 10. That doesn't really matter. Okay. Just gonna move this down. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. I am seeing, I don't know why, but for some reason the microphone seemed to have dropped off there, which is very weird. Could have something to do with the fact that I am running Catalina, and OBS does not entirely play well with Catalina, so I'm running some like weird version. Anyway, let's see. Try building this again. There we go. Okay. So we'll do that. Okay. So now I've got to move this off the screen again. Come over here and copy that. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hit save. Perfect. That is exactly what we want. And now we're going to go ahead to the generate logs. And that is about where I am going to remember I never put in the value. I don't think. Where's my navigate command one? Yeah. So this is actually, I think, a very interesting bug. So what we have here, I passed navigate async an empty string, and it returned a success. I don't know that it should do that, to be very honest. I don't know what you guys think on that. If anybody has any thoughts as to what you think, let me know, because I would be very interested to hear. Anywho, okay, so we'll go ahead and stop debugging this for a second or two. We're going to add the generate logs page. The other thing I need to do, so I'm actually going to redo this. I'm going to say, I'm going to wrap this in a navigation page. And, oh, I need to set the title on here. Okay, and I should also, sorry, so I know I'm bouncing around a lot here. I'm also going to do a navigation page here, just to keep it consistent. Okay. Okay, so I'll move that over. Let's save there. So if I come in here, go ahead and, oh, we failed. Why did we fail? no page has been registered. So this is one actually I think kind of a nice thing. So you can see I've got this navigation exception, and this is the beauty of Prism 7.2, right? Is I've added so much in here that really helps. So before we were getting an error because I didn't add the whole flag for xamarin.forms for carousel view, but now we're actually seeing like, hey, that no page was registered with the provided key. So that tells me I need to come back in here, and I can fix the issue very simply. Register for navigation and generate logs page. Okay, and there we go. Huh. You know, I'm really glad I pay for gigabit internet, and then I'm sitting here watching that, like, the stream goes from perfect to struggling, perfect to struggling. I'm like, why am I paying for gigabit internet then? Makes no sense to me. Anyway. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so we have our console logging service, which is actually what I expected to see, by the way. So, because if you noticed, right here, this is saying please select. So we have not actually selected either the HTTP or the syslog logger. So we're actually using the console logger, which was our default. And so what I want to do is just test to see, what these logs are going to look like here in my output. Let me go ahead and just kind of validate that something is occurring. So here we go. So this is actually a very interesting little thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it, because if you'll notice, the only thing that's popping up here is this, whoops, this dangerous API did something terrible. So I am going to close that. We go to my logging generator. So what I forgot to do was I forgot to add it to the messages. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay. And there you go. So now let me redo this. Okay, and we're relaunching here. So we'll go ahead and hit generate logs again. So we started our test blog. Perfect. That is exactly what we wanted to see. So, so we see here we had our starting test blog run. We had our exception. We had we hit view A, the user did something, blah, blah, blah. So we kind of went through and we had this whole succession of different things in here. But then we also had some fun stuff where we see that we had a tracked event for view A. We reported an exception, and that exception was, whoops, this dangerous API did something. And it was a system.exception, so we can actually see the type of exception as well. And then we see a logged message that the user did something fun and the category was info, because that actually gets put into the properties for us with that extension. So that is kind of what is going on there. Okay. Logging, log generator. Okay. So let's go back now, and I am going to select the HTTP endpoint, because why not? And we're going to see that the Loggly HTTP logger is now our logger. And I'm going to go ahead and hit generate logs here. And so now we'll see the same progression as we go through here. And source browser, or actually no, dashboard. Where is it? Okay. I'll have to see. I'll have to verify at some point here that we had the same thing, but I might have put the wrong token in. I don't know. But basically, what we're going to be looking for is anything logged in here. So right now I'm not seeing anything. It may take a few minutes to kind of come in. It shouldn't take that long. Oh, okay then. Huh. Interesting. Try that. Well, I'll have to confirm why that's not working. But in any case, that's basically the sample we're going to provide. I'll have to, like I said, just validate that that is working, and then I'll grab a screenshot a little bit later and kind of show off what what's going on. So Alexi, you were asking, is this class, does it use iLogger Feke? Yes, it does. That's a terrible interface. Don't use it. I know that in the past Brian used to go around and say, "Oh yeah, we have we do logging, blah blah blah," and I told him like 3 years ago, it's a terrible interface. Don't use it. We need to do something different if you want to say we have logging. And I think it was like 2 weeks ago, he messaged me and goes, "Hey, yeah, we really don't have a logging interface." I said, "No, we don't." So this is actually why I created the logging plugin, because this actually gives you much better APIs. Like one of the things here that you'll notice when I come into my log generator. So what I'm doing here is I'm intentionally catching, or I'm intentionally throwing an exception and catching it, right? And so now I have this exception object, and what I could do, because this does implement the iLogger does actually inherit from Prism's base interface, which is a piece of crap. But so if I wanted to use that, I could do that, and I could say, okay, so what do we have here? I got to go through a few different things. Let me find the no. Here it is. Okay. So you'll notice it's kind of small, I'm sure, on your screen, but you'll kind of notice, let me see if I can make that any bigger. Whoa, that was, yeah. Oh, come on. What's going on with this thing? It's the last one. That did not help. But anyway, so if you look at the IntelliSense here, this is actually from Prism. But you'll notice that, like, what can I actually provide it? I can pass it a string, I can pass it a category, and I can pass it a priority. So now the only thing I can do with this is I can basically say I want my exception to string, right? And that my category is going to be an exception, and then the priority, we'll say hi or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but I mean, what good is this? I mean, obviously, is there a difference between this right here and then this right here if I'm using the console logger? No, there's no difference, right? But if I'm using, say, App Center to notify me of an exception that was caught somewhere, then I wouldn't like, all I have is a string, so I can't pass this up to the crashes API. I would have to pass it to the analytics API, which is the entire wrong thing to do. So that just becomes very problematic. Whereas like this report, API, I'm actually taking the raw exception and I can pass that exception directly to the crashes API from App Center, for example. And there are a lot of other providers out there that kind of do the same type of thing. So that just kind of helps you kind of figure out what you want to do there. Anyway, hope that kind of helps answer the question that you had. So yeah. Anyway, so that is all I have for today. Like I said, I'm gonna come in here and validate offline that I'm using the correct token and getting the logs up to Loggly, and then we'll be putting the sample up so everybody can take a look. I'd say this actually, I mean, this is one of the more advanced samples, so we are covering a lot here, but hopefully this gives you a pretty good idea to see how you can use a lot of different APIs together. We had some very basic usage here of the iEvent aggregator. We created a nice little XAML extension to help us out with our images, our embedded images. Some neat little things here, and you can see, of course, that we were dynamically swapping out implementations, in our app as we kind of went along here. So some cool stuff that we were doing for sure. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in. I know I definitely went a bit longer than I was planning to today, but hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.